And the Smoke here on Twitch, making my first YouTube video. I am a 2500 XP RBG player, Hero of the Alliance. Shadowlands Season 1 was my first season of PvP. Shadowlands Season 2 was my first Hero of the Alliance. I have some important information, or as one of the people who probably has most games played in the NA for probably the last year and a half. For anybody interested in the solo shuffle RBG experience that is coming up in 10.2. There's things about rated battlegrounds. It's a little bit different than arenas. There's a culture. There's team fights. There's people trying to take bases behind your back. There's a lot of things happening. And there's a lot of different utility per spec that's more important than just doing damage. Your CCs, your utility to help teammates. The fact that you don't communicate anymore in Discord to be able to speak on the urgency of things happening, such as CC, creates a whole new element to the game. People taking bases, having to adjust by using an add-on called Battleground Enemies to allow you to click and be able to see people across the map against you. Well, let's introduce no comms. What does that mean? How would these classes play with ping systems, raid chat, maybe using the team chat in a raid chat to speak to each other in game? Well, every spec has a role to each RBG map. Each spec has different abilities that will allow different things to happen to help teammates or damage teammates. Well, I'm here to talk about all these things in a nutshell. If you haven't followed, make sure you check me out on Twitch, Panda Smoke. I stream live daily and I only queue RBGs normally. Well, let's talk about some things. Let's talk about it. We're going to break this down into things that we'll cover by specs and roles first. We're going to cover tanks and then healers. We'll cover melee DPS. And then we're going to cover our range, of course. Now, if you're not familiar with RBGs, rated battlegrounds, there's different kind of map modes, base maps, flag maps, and I call them objective maps that are kind of a rated battleground specialty they made. You know, you have things like Eye of the Storm, Silver Shard Mines, Temple of Katmogu. For short, we call them EOTS, Cards Temple. Well, let's talk about each spec based on that, blending on what's the pros for the specs and the cons for the spec in a rated battleground, what I call objective mindset. Your awareness needs to be more about the rules of how rated battlegrounds have win conditions opposed to just can you team fight on what we call micro level. Macro is anything dealing with the map. Okay, so let's talk about this. We have our Guardian Druid. I will have to rate Guardian Druid at S tier. For base maps, they can hold their base really well. Barkskin with the brambles spins the node if you stand on top of the node. The rated battlegrounds meta has finally figured out after about halfway through the season what to do to cap on a Guardian Druid. You have to have anything that can move a Guardian Druid off of the node or simply a clone. When we talk about flag maps, they have the advantage to allow your team fight to consistently fight in midfield more often because they can stealth their way to the flag map as long as the Demon Hunter stays in combat so that he does not spectral sight the Guardian Druid out, which gives a huge advantage to allow you to keep fighting in midfield and not send more resources. They have had a buff to their healing, so the self heals have actually increased. And that goes with EOTS, Carts, and Temple. I would hope that they would be allowed to play their DPS spec if they queued as a tank for these maps. Boomy is in a very good place. Pharaoh's in a very good place. If they have to queue as a tank for Eots, Carts, and Temple, they're actually pretty good holders of the orb because of their mobility. Carts, same situation, and their utility to be able to CC out and hold the carts for a long time with self-heals. In the Eye of the Storm, they're incredible base sitters. So I'll give this an S tier. If you have never played Guardian Druid in a rated battleground, you would probably want to tighten up your spin script, is what I have deemed it. Knowing what you need to trinket and what not to trinket. Alright, going on to Vengeance Demon Hunter. I also would put them at S tier. And let's talk about it. Demon Hunters facing Guardian Druids can Spectral Sight as a tank and get Guardian Druids out on flag maps. They counter Guardian Druids. They have an ability at the time where you can flap off of the top of Warsong Gulch or on Twin Peaks to be able to flap with the flag and be able to not be CC'd mid-air and go at a faster speed with the flag than any other way. Quick tip, spacebar 3 times, jump, double jump, get your wings out, disengage after you turn your back towards the direction you want to go, hit spacebar 1 more time, pull your wings out, and you're flying at jet speed from point of destination to midfield. Double jump before you hit the ground. You still have the CC reduction buff where you can't be CC'd at all. And then you will be able to almost be across the entire map as a Demon Hunter. They can do this to the point where they leave their entire team and nobody can catch them besides probably a rogue. The only other healer that could ever keep up with them is an Evoker healer, but they have to be in very good synergy. Verdant Embrace to me, buddy. Alright. When it comes to base maps, they are incredible base sitters for that same reason. The disengage CC reduction, they can dodge a lot of CC abilities. You can immolate aura on the flag and it spins. A lot of people do not play Vengeance Demon Hunter on any maps except for flag carry, except for a few who use things such as Illidan's Grasp to give them effects to take nodes with things such as a rogue with him assaulting a stealthy's base, because normally stealthies hold bases in rated battlegrounds, and they use their CC together to take bases, which was another reason why they're at S tier. That takes a little bit of coordination and skill. Going on. They don't have as much healing, self-healing as a Guardian Druid, per se. But their rotation in their damage kit allows them to sustain damage reduction throughout the team in the AoE. Going on to Prot. Prot Pally is played differently in rated battlegrounds in their current condition state. I would say they're at a B tier. And I kind of want to address something that I meant to address, is that there's actually probably these two specs, Prot and Prot, both are not really too viable right now in the current stage. But Prot Paladin, I would put them at B tier right now. They can't really live on a flag carry map. The entire team would have to walk with them, which kind of gives them a disadvantage until they land kills. But doing that allows a lot of their offense to just keep pushing you, which could lead to a small offense on your side to have an advantage to landing a kill. But just with the mobility and the way Prot Paladin is right now in rated battlegrounds, they're just a bubble away from dying like most other paladins. They can hold a node for a long time. I would say their best advantage to the map isn't really their spec per se, it's what their spec can do That's not intended to do it. There's a lot of healing output, so you can put them with a DPS to assault a base, and they play as if a healer at doing slightly less damage than probably a Disc Priest or around a Disc Priest's damage. They provide some nice utility like Summer and a couple immunities, so it gives them cap conditions if you have a DPS friend. But that's high skill cap gameplay. We got Brewmaster. This is real tricky because it's a very high skill cap class. But to be honest, with these three right here, Blood DK, Brewmaster, Vengeance, Guardian, I would say these would be the only four that you could have an actual viable opportunity right now with. But Prot Paladin's getting huge buffs. So Brewmaster, I would say I would put them at A tier, but it's a S tier class. It's a God tier. I'm gonna be honest. If you can watch D. Pebbington play Brewmaster, you would understand why it's God tier. There's things this class does that I don't even know what he's doing. He was at one point taking bases, stopping all spell damage with one other partner. They changed that one thing. They are incredible flag carries. They can use ports to get away. They have speed. They have robs. They have stagger. They have healing. They have a lot of damage. They have incredible CC. The best CC in the game. Brewmasters are highly slept upon. They can do things that no other tank can do. They have output healing. While Blood DK can heal himself for 1 billion, a Brewmaster can heal as much as another healer to his teammates. Brewmaster is really incredible. It is God tier. And this is not a joke. If you have an understanding of where to find the research to play at a higher level, like with Murloc IO, things like that, search certain Brewmasters. This is a very partial decision because my main team in the NA runs Brewmaster tank. It's a very high skill cap class. It can hold a node forever. You can take so many nodes. If you run Coltiran, which is a very important race throughout RBGs, probably one of the best races you can play because you have the Coltiran Haymaker knock and you can have advantages on maps where you can kill people instantly. You can do incredible things. I would put Brewmaster at God tier. But you have to know how to play a Brewmaster. And use everything. Use everything. Blood DK. We're going to put Blood DK at A tier. They are incredible at self-healing for flag maps. They're pretty solid as long as your team plays for them when they grab the flag. But if he is alone, he will probably die. He has no advantage to get out. That's where it really hurts him. Blood DKs bring a different utility to rated battlegrounds that was found out through a guy named Glogan. They have an ability to capture priests to ability that they can take them completely out of the game with their kit with grips and slows. They're incredible at holding bases. They do incredible damage and they do incredible healing. They're very self-sufficient. We're going to Prot Warrior. Right now, Prot Warrior is probably at like C tier, B tier, which is actually where they're at. But we're gonna put them there just because. Prot Warrior is we're gonna put them at S tier. I'm going a little long on tanks. I'm actually gonna put them down at A tier, B tier, because if I don't want to give you guys expectation to play these classes and be able to do amazing things. Prot Warrior is getting huge damage buffs. So they're probably God tier. That's another time. But right now, if you're going to go into Prot Warrior 10.2 solo shuffles, I would say you're probably going to have an A tier time. Okay? You're not going to feel disappointed. It's probably a Prot Paladin. Let's go into healers. We're going to talk about Disc Priest. Discipline Priest. This is my main spec, and this isn't biased. It's God tier at the moment. The damage they can do, the healing they can do, while doing damage. The importance of their cooldowns for their entire rated battlegrounds for Dome, Rapture, Pain Subs is so important. An incredible Disc Priest can steal other teammates' defensives, other enemies' defensives while the teammates support. There's a lot of things Disc Priest plays. It is as well a very high skill cap class because the problem is that the meta has a lot of fast classes. So Disc Priests get left behind a lot. And there's a lot of classes that are meta that have spammable slows. That could knock them down to S tier. But an incredible Discipline Priest changes every game if he's at the fight, using everything correctly. They are they can hold bases with Shadow Fiend Trinket. A lot of people don't understand that a Discipline Priest can actually hold a node for a very long time if played efficiently. They, at the time with the changes coming and how they're doing right now, rated battlegrounds, I feel like they're good. Arduin, current stage, little biasness. Want to see some Ardred pumping. Seen some Ardred pumpers throughout the season doing 60 mil healing. I'm going to put them at probably A tier because it's not the current meta, but Ardreds are going to bring something different. They're solo shuffles. They bring something to rated battlegrounds that people don't really know how to play currently on the ladder, which is the element of a stealth killer to be able to change the entire game. Most people in the current meta rated battlegrounds will say, Panda Smoke, you're an idiot. They're D. They're garbage. Don't bring on my group. C, B. But I'm personally going to put them at A because we're talking about a level, if you're playing your class properly to the specs design per map with a high skill cap. Ardreds are able to show up in the stealth fights when assaulting a node and assist the rogue booming combo in a manner that we get that base instantly. They can do this with the same thing with flag maps on offense. They can also do this on Eons, cards. Temple is a team fight type map. They bring a clone. Say less. All right. Going on. Holy Priest. Holy Priest is good. If I'm putting Ardred at S, A, I would have to put, I think we're going to shift this down just for perimeter purposes. So we're going to put Ardred B. Holy Priest is A. No. This is a little user error. I'll put them at B tier. Holy Priests are alright. You can do good damage. They provide cooldowns the same like as Discipline in a manner with Guardian Spirit and Ray, but they don't have the class designed to be reliant on doing damage. Discipline Priests bring damage to the fight, which helps bring a number difference if the Discipline Priest is playing like Bruce Lee. The Holy Priest, he has better single target healing than a Discipline Priest, but priests get CC'd and we're in a bad place, and not being able to communicate your CCs and solo shuffles can hurt. Moving on, not staying on Holy Priest long. They're not really good. If you were asked my bias opinion, they're garbage, but I'll put them at B. Resto Shaman. I feel like I have to put them down at C. Resto Shamans are good. They've had a better output this season. If you ask my friend Neverflop, he would say I'm stupid for putting them anything less than God tier. I would say a high skill cap Resto Shaman, such as maybe if I ever played it one time in my life, maybe A right now. But if they don't get buffs, they could easily fall down to B, C tier. Because Resto Shamans, unlike other classes, can have their main healing cooldowns killed. totems. Their whole class is countered by tab targeting. It really hurts in RBGs with 6-5 DPS around you. It is a different story in arenas. It's a different story in arenas when you know you just got 2 kicks off of 2 DPS or 1 DPS. And now you can finally cast Healing Wave or Chain Heal. Casting in rated battlegrounds is harder on a good high MMR level of a rated battleground than probably any arena you've ever played. Except if you're R1 at BlizzCon. All I can say is there is a meta to kick healers to land kills in rated battlegrounds. And if this is your life on rated battleground life as a shaman, you're going to have a hard time once you start running out your self heals, your insta heals. We're going to go on to Mistweaver. We're going to put them in S tier. People would say I'm crazy because I didn't put them God tier and put Disc Priest at S. This is very, yes, that is fine. But I am going to put them in S tier because while Discipline Priest, you're going to be the crowd control target of rated battlegrounds. You're going to receive so much crowd control, and it's going to be a nightmare for solo shuffles because you can't communicate any of the spells. Mistweaver is currently the kill target healer of rated battlegrounds. So if you are not good at juking and getting precogged, you are going to find yourself slamming your head on the keyboard in the graveyard. But if you're an incredible healer, you can just sit there and rise to the top of the ladder, catching every precog from every kick. Because you are the main kick target, the main kill target. Between you and a warlock, your life is going to feel like, will somebody get these guys off of me? And not being able to communicate that to the team is going to hurt a lot. Mistweaver and solo shuffles, and for that reason, it's going to feel like an A tier class to most people. B tier. Because you're just going to feel like I can't even have fun. Let somebody else handle that. It's not for the weak. Evoker, I want to put them S tier, but I don't think they stand next to a Mistweaver in actual reality unless you are a high skill cap Evoker. So which is why I probably will leave them in S tier and not shift these guys down to here, here, and here. I don't know. I've been working on carpets a lot, and it's kind of giving me carpet vibes, rotating the pyramid. But I think I'm just going to leave it as is for now. Wait. Take your ass back in there. I almost want to put our druid right there. But this is if we're talking high skill cap. So S tier, because Evoker on flag maps can keep up with Demon Hunters, tanks. They're incredible with their time downs. The problem a lot of people need to know is that you need to run Temporal Anomaly, Reversion, the team, get Reversion up, and try to run big pumps on your Dream Breaths. That's your build. You should never cast Emerald Blossom in an RPG. For the output, it never outweighs the Golden Hour Echo Reversion effect of Evoker. They have the highest mobility in the game almost, so they should be able to rotate the maps faster than anybody on flag maps, on EOTs, carts, temple. They're very good class. AoE healing is the name of the game for rated battlegrounds for Discipline Priests and Evokers. Going on to our final healer, we got H Pally. I'm going to put them in A tier. The only thing is I actually do feel like I should shift these down because we're going to talk in the aspect of our Druid is a high skill cap gameplay. Hopefully their output keeps going up, which will keep them at B tier over these other two. Holy Paladin has found its place in the rated battlegrounds due to the rework. The analysis is incredible. They were a staple of rated battlegrounds before I started doing battlegrounds. And when I first started in Shadowlands Season 1, it was H Pally double Disc Priest was the meta. But H Pallies bring incredible utility for the team. They bring incredible single target, healing, team buffs. Their only downfall is the same thing in the arenas that Mistweaver may face, is that you become a kill target and they force your bubble. You should rely on your teammates. Try to hold the bubble. They lack mobility, puts them at A tier. And at one point of the season before the nerf, they were probably God tier over Disc Priest, bumping Disc Priest to S tier. Alright, we're going to go on to melee. We have our Feral Druid. Right now, they're doing really good. They're incredible. I'll put Feral, just really not like overshooting everything into like the S tier classes. I feel like I put Feral at A tier right now. Druids have an advantage in rated battlegrounds in general with this stealth, having utility to help your teammates, being able to have basically what their class says, a little bit of everything. If you can morph into any animal, you could probably do anything. You could probably fit any hole. You could probably top any mountain, you know? So that's sort of like how they are in rated battlegrounds. They can do everything as a druid, all specs. And for the fact that they can do high numbers, Feral does incredible bleed damage. It provides a mortal strike, AoE. They have an advantage to be able to help take bases. On flag maps, they have incredible damage to the enemy flag carries. And then maps like Carts and Temple of Katmogu, Silver Shard Mines, their AoE is incredible because everybody's stacked up, and especially Eye of the Storm in the middle. They're really good. Their damage is incredible. Keep them going for the Pharaohs. We're going to go on to arms. Fury. I would put them, I want to say B tier compared to a Feral. They have an AoE Mortal Strike, which is huge for rated battlegrounds. Any class that has an AoE Mortal Strike. I think it's important to say that at the stage right now that I put them in B tier is because they're a little squishier than arms. And if they're not going to be killing a Mistweaver, they're probably going to hit like typical arena targets such as warriors and things that don't have a whole lot of immunities and defensives to help them through multiple assaults. Hunters, rogues, warriors. You're real dependent on your teammates. Warrior life, no healing, but Fury has more self heals than arms. But just being a warrior in general, catching yourself out of position on a rated battleground solo shuffle is going to cost your life a lot. You don't have any healing, any green button numbers that's going to sustain 3-4 people beating on you in this position. Enhance at the current state, we're going to put them down at C. They do incredible damage on their goes. They are in a position where I would say maybe B tier. I'll give Fury a B. I'll give Enhance a B because Enhance has a condition of single target kills. Okay. Rated battlegrounds, we have the single target kills. We have rot damage, a few other things. But Enhance right now has a decent single target kill. Problem is, the way you're gonna get hit in a rated battleground so much. Windwalker, I would put you at the C tier because they are pretty reliant on sucking up all of the team's defensives. And if they're not really doing max damage, which probably means not repeating a button to keep that mastery buff rolling also or something, they're going to die eventually. They're good between their defensives, sort of like they are in arenas at the time. When I played Windwalker for a little bit, I felt like it was more important that between my defensives, I checked things like what was happening at other nodes. Something that I could handle. We're gonna move on from Windwalker. It's not long. Talk about it. We got Havoc Demon Hunter. I want to put them at S. I do put them at S. Reason being, Havoc Demon Hunter has Spectral Sight. That gives the advantage to a rated battleground to be able to find stealthies who are trying to assault bases, or so you can assault a base, you can get them out. At the current stage, Blur is incredible, followed by Darkness. It's 2 cooldowns, one that helps the team. They even have the build where you can fly in the sky and shoot them with the laser beams. You can do a lot of things to spin nodes with that, and also kill to take nodes. Prevent damage from 8 players hitting you. Yeah, they have Nether as well. It's a really good class, I would say. Okay, and they do incredible uptime on orb carries, flag maps, on the enemy flag carries. They can be good defensive players with Spectral Sight to get rogues out. Mm, I would say one of their flaws is once you're out of your cooldowns, you're really reliant on demon procs and I beam. But you win a lot of 1v1s. Okay. And then Sin Rogue right now is at S tier, A tier. I don't know. I lost Sin Rogue. Where'd it go? I think I should make this into a 2-part video. I think I should stop here and just take a moment. Be right back. Look for the second video.